spoke about connecting to who you are, introspecting upon who you are, what comes up for you when you say that to yourself, when you think of who you are, or what you want to do. What are the things that come up to you in your mind at that point in time? How many of the people here actually did that or could do that is what I would love to know. Anyone? So what is it that stops us from doing something as simple as realizing or connecting to who we are? Here's where I want to speak to you guys. Of course, if you have any questions, please send them our way so that we can answer them. But also in terms of the journey and what stops you from connecting to who you are, because I see each of you and I see each of you coming committed, sitting through the session, listening to what is being said. And it's with complete willingness, with complete eagerness. So where does the block come when it comes to actualizing and thinking of who you are? Would anyone like to share their journey or share where they're at, or what stopped them from doing this, from asking themselves this question and getting to an answer? I'm waiting for your responses. I was seeing how many people I can see with cameras on and with faces on. So I see just the two faces at this point. And then I see two fans, and then I see mostly screens that don't have their faces on them. So I cannot read, I cannot tell. But is there anything where you would like to share as to what is coming in your way? Or would you like to listen just more so? Because this seems like the listening crowd that is there, which I should actually feel deeply flattered by. Yes, Corey.
I don't know. Do my voice can you hear me?
There's a lot of disturbance in the background.
Let me put my headphones off.
Oh, this
Maybe you
is a
can
lot
hear me.
better. This is a lot better. How are you?
Okay, great.
What time is it?
It is early. It is 5:30. So
Wow.
yeah, and it is raining from 4 o'clock. So yes, it is. It's a nice day actually.
We can't tell much because it's really dark outside. But
Yes.
yes, I'd love to hear from you.
Well, I definitely did ask the questions, or the question of who am I, and obviously you get positive, or you yourself make positive assumptions on who you actually are. But the true self, how other people might see me and so forth, might be different from what the view that I have. I also struggle to answer the question properly, and to cut maybe through my beliefs and see how other people might see me. And so yes, that is definitely something that bothers me a bit, that I can't get to the answer. And then, of course, on the goals that we set earlier on the year, I did manage to get to it and see what I did achieve. And from the 6 or so goals that I set out, there is one that I feel I am getting, I'm getting success from that. That was maybe, or it is something that I said to myself, I want to take on tasks and do it calmly and effectively, and not in a hasty manner. Normally, my personality is such that I will, I want to do something and I want to do it now, and I'm get all the things together and start it in a rush, and then it don't turn out positive. Normally I have to redo it to get to an end goal. So I was just trying to get myself to take on tasks calmly and do it effectively. Think twice about how to go about finishing tasks. The others, of obviously, there was money making in. Who doesn't want to make money?
So did you find yourself moving towards those goals? Did you find that you could be calm and do that?
Yes, yes. Just to um, just to take things calmly and just think twice when you start doing something, and see that you finish it in the correct manner. That you don't do it in a haste and get a negative result out of it. So yes, I did manage to.
If I may ask you, where, when you were thinking about who am I this week, where was your
Yes.
struggle? Was it more, wait, I'll just, was your struggle mostly with figuring the answer to who you were, or was it mostly in figuring the distinction between who you think you are and who others think you are, or was it in aligning yourself to what others think you are? Because that's where I felt you spoke of struggling as to aligning with other people's thoughts. You're muted.
You just unmute. You can still hear me, no?
Yes, we can hear you now.
There was some message on my screen. I think that that the fact that I can only see myself through my eyes might have a different, there might be a different take on me from other people, and it was just a struggle for me to actually look at the negative side of who I am. I do have faults, definitely I do have, but to actually acknowledge it and making that a mission to better. Yeah, it is that I actually just looking at a positive side.
There's nothing wrong with that. So what can you give me an example of what was one thing? Do you think that the negative that you thought of was something that you perceive of yourself as a negative quality of yours, or something that you've been told by people is a negative quality of yours?
I do feel that it is a negative also from my side, and I did get feedback from other people that I might be too bossy, or getting my view of my take on things, imposing that on other people. That I don't think it's such a good trait.
And what did you do with whatever answers you got?
What did I? Sorry, my speaker isn't that good.
Whatever answers you got when you were introspecting, where was your main point of struggle then? As I asked you earlier, was your main point of struggle in aligning what you thought of yourself with what others thought of you? Was it with just
Yes,
introspection, or where was it?
I think that I do see that I do have negative traits. There is some negative that I also experience from my side, that I can, when I interact with people and I trying to get them to take on my point of view, I can see that it does have an influence on the other person and that they don't appreciate my, I don't know if it's a bossiness, but it is definite, it is my way that I want to impose on people, and I don't see that, I don't see clearly that there is another way or another person's view. Other person might be, I want to get someone to maybe start a business with me, and I think we're going to do it this way, and that person say no, it's not going to, or just shut down, and then it's useless to try and start a business with someone that.
What did you
that
do with other, whatever answers you got? How do you think they helped you? The good, the bad, whatever.
Well, you're asking me how does it influence my my outcome, how I saw myself, or well, I do try to get the get my own viewpoint to also calm down and so that I can maybe see from there that we don't that I don't have so many fights, or that I don't only see my point of view. But it is difficult for me to, if I get myself that this is how I do it, and then it turns out negative for the other person.
All right. Okay, so for everyone here now, if you all remember the activity that we actually set out to do this week, all right, now Mr. Corey speaks about the main struggle that being between sort of aligning what he thinks of himself and with what other people think of him, and the main point of contention there being that people think that he wants to impose his way of things. Now, that's actually quite contradictory to what he ended up doing in the exercise, because if you remember, we spoke a lot about this week on what you feel of yourself, how you focus on yourself, how you feel about yourself. In fact, we also spoke about how we take on, we spoke about this last week, we spoke a little bit about it this week, and we spoke on the points of how we take on so many of the roles, the responsibilities, the labels, the perceptions that people have of us, that sometimes somewhere along the journey, we forget who we really are. So it was actually really thoughtful of him to think of it from both aspects, but the main activity being, who do you think you are beyond those labels, beyond what people think of you? And don't you think that even given that exercise, where you're actually taking time to go like, no, I mean, even if it's selfish, let me understand who I think I am. I know what everyone thinks of me, but let me understand who I think I am. And for a person who says that, people think that, I do not, sort of take in their point of view, and I am bossy, or I want things my way, for him to actually do the exercise, but to actually go and go like, okay, so this is what I perceive of myself, but what do other people think of me, is actually ironic to the exact point that is being mentioned, isn't it? So there, I mean, and he's somebody who follows it to the T, who's understanding, who's taking it in silently, and because he did the February exercise also of reviewing the goals, seeing where you're at, which means he is a person who is following something that, if it resonates to him, he's following it to the T. He is taking the time to introspect, to find himself, to make this journey for himself, which means he's listening. But still, when the mind is directed in a different way, it will do that same exercise in a different manner. What is to be commended is the shifts that are made, is the introspection that was done, is him actually moving on with the list and going, okay, this is this, I've begun steps on it. When our mind, though, is directed and it really wants to make a change from within, it will automatically, I'll be listening to something, but what goes on in my head will also be varied. So, like the part where he had to think of who he is didn't seem to be the struggle, but the struggle came in maybe seeing the negative to the self, or in aligning what other people think of you and what you think of yourself. Now, that is always going to be a struggle because you're evolving, they're evolving, and people around keep shifting. All right, so actually I'm going to do a B round and take some of these points to notice. But if you see, Corey, you've actually made great progress because you are actually thinking of them. You're thinking of what they think of me, which is the opposite of what you are saying is the problem they have with you. And that wasn't even the activity. The activity was, see what other people think of you and what you think of yourself and get realistic. Then I understand what you did, or you doing that, or you making the effort to do that. But that wasn't even the task. The task was literally the opposite of that, and going like, okay, just think of who you are. Think of yourself beyond your labels. All right. So, I mean, you might actually have something to pat yourself on the back, or, reconsider as far as understanding and realizing that you are maybe, you're shifting, you're changing, you're evolving in every moment. So that might have been a label associated to you, but today's reality might display something different. But he brought to notice two very important points also, which generally are the things which stop us from introspecting or stop us from connecting to who we are, thinking about who we are, or putting in the work needed for that, putting in the actual legwork. One is actually so many times when we're told to think of ourselves is the fear of the negative. The fear of, okay, if I have to really understand myself, what are the negatives also that will come up? Now, when I tell each of you to do it, I want you to start with where you're at. If you can only think of fabulous things for yourself also, do it. That would actually be incredible, because otherwise, as humans, we're wired to look for the negative. We're wired to look for the problem because we're constantly evolving, we're constantly improving. Like I explained, if I have to keep improving my device, if I have to keep bettering it, I have to keep finding the bugs within it to fix them. How do I make a better version of something that is perfect? I cannot. Because we're constantly evolving, because we are conditioned to be the best version of ourselves, we keep looking for the bugs within ourselves and then look at fixing it. We are so much more used to looking at the negative of what is going on around us, of what is happening. This didn't happen, that didn't happen. That to actually find and look for the positive within the situation sometimes becomes a challenge. And they say we're most critical about ourselves generally. So unless it is just the labels that we're fighting, when we actually come and think about, okay, let me think of all the positives. When you all start your journey, commend yourself on the number of positive things you can see to yourself. Till you feel like, I see these positives within me, but these contradict with what everyone says. That becomes a problem for you. But the minute you understand that, okay, if I truly see these traits within me as positive, and I have so many positive traits that it's outnumbering the negative, I can't even think of the negative, I'm struggling towards that. You should be in a brilliant place, because if you truly, truly believe these are my positive traits, then those can be your strength. You will see anyone operating out of their strength, anyone operating out of something they believe is their strength, No matter the situation they will walk into, they can use that strength to actually fuel them. Because our strengths, who we are, is unique to us and actually helps us stand out, actually helps us thrive in this world. Why is it that you within a family you'll have people with different thought forms, different strengths, different ways of operating, but as a unit they can do really well when they're all operating from their strengths. But if they're all operating out of their weakness or what another person feels is their weakness and squabbling over that, that unit doesn't get anywhere, that team doesn't get anywhere, the growth is hindered. So sometimes the fear of being unable to, sometimes it's us being unable to see our greatness. Sometimes it is about, what if I see the really dark parts of me? Can I acknowledge that? And the third actually comes from when either of these tasks become difficult, because everything that I can think of, every answer that comes to my mind when I think of who I am, is actually what I've been told of who I am, is what I've heard so often. And when, Richa comes and says, you think of who you are beyond your labels, beyond what you've been told since childhood you are. You're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a business person, you're this, you're lazy, you're selfish, you're bossy. Sometimes the struggle comes actually in the opposite manner of what he said, in actually realizing, who am I beyond those labels? Who do I believe I am? Because if you will connect to the answer of who you believe you are, then automatically that converts to a strength. When you are struggling with, okay, so I think I'm a nice person, I think I can speak well or I can communicate well, but that's not what other people seem to think. So now that's where my struggle and my duality starts. But if I truly, truly believe that I, can do something really well and that is my strength, then that is something I will automatically shine from. So wherever that struggle comes in, wherever that your mind is auto-correcting the question, that in itself is an act of self-love, because your mind is showing you the next stage of where you're at. So look at, what was happening in the process, what made my mind auto-correct this. And if I truly could get a list of my strengths, let me operate from them. So for a person if they feel like my strength is leadership, my strength is that I have great ideas. The problem is that people don't seem to think that way. Okay. So I acknowledge that is I simply start working on those great ideas myself. If I truly had the conviction that I have really, really good ideas, I wouldn't get disheartened when I put that, and I wouldn't scrap the whole project when I put that idea out there and another person has a simple disagreement. There, my ego becomes bigger than my belief that my ideas are fabulous. If you see entrepreneurs, if you see a writer who's now publishing a best-selling novel, there will always be people who think it's a horrible idea or a horrible book, and there'll be people who really like it, and that's why it's best-selling. The difference was that they really believed in their idea. I mean, today, if you see the products that are out there, some of them are ridiculous. Okay, and you wonder what somebody thought of when they made a product like this. But if you really believe, if they really, and there of course a lot of people who you might be using those products also. You have, I mean, I think now we have come to a point in our human race where we're looking at comfort, we're looking at having everything simplified for us, having everything made better for us. So you'll have your phone cover, which will have a stand also, something that'll be multifunctional, something that's easier to use, something that is more compact to use. I mean, we have towels now for just wrapping our hair up once we've washed it. Do you think the person, when they innovated it, it's just simply a towel, but which cannot even be used on your whole body? It can only be used to wrap your hair up after it's wet. That's the sole purpose of it. Do you think when they came up with that idea, it would have easily been applauded right when it started? No, but today, I mean, if it's functional, if it's not a weight I'm carrying on my head, and if it's easy for me to use, why not? If something is easy for us to use, we all are happy to use it. Shark Tank India is this big thing now, which people are talking about. I mean, I honestly prefer the versions that have been happening abroad, but I watch it to understand the new ideas that are there. There'll be sometimes really random things that come on there, but they come with a lot of confidence. Now, anytime I really have an idea, I am in complete conviction that this is amazing, because I believe I'm a person with great ideas or with great execution, whatever it is. Now, when I want to partner with this person, I'm talking to them and they think my idea is horrible, or they think, things need to be done completely differently. If I truly came with that conviction, what would be on and within me would not be the fight with them or, oh, this is pointless. Would be, okay, how else can I execute this? What else can I do with it? You'll see most best-selling novelists, most people who've, had a very popular series, a very popular book that is written, a very popular product, a businessman who's really doing well, who will generally, an entrepreneur, they will talk about how when they started, how when they presented that same book, Harry Potter was rejected so many times, and it's a craze. They will speak about how when that idea was presented and they presented it to so many people thought it was a horrible idea. They thought they should trash this book and throw it away and never look at it again. But if they really believed it was great, then the struggle was never about, oh, but why aren't people believing that? Or, oh, now, I cannot work with this. It was about, this is fabulous. That conviction kept them going and got them to where they're at. All right. So if we are truly connected to our positives, to our strengths, and what we feel they are, they will have a way of working out for us. And a person who believes that even if the idea fails is ready to think of the next thing, because already have another great idea. The collaboration, all of those things automatically come as part of it. So I mean, actually applaud the journey of, self-improvement, where you're thinking about, okay, so what is everyone else thinking? How can I shift that? Okay, but for most of us, we're all, I mean, the struggle comes in when I want to get myself better. I want to connect to who I am, but I also want to improve my relationship. I also want to do that. And when I feel like, I'm really at the starting ground for both things that are opposite but equally important, and I want to do them both together. That's when what happens is I cannot focus my energies on either, because I'm like, no, but if I'm listening to them, if I'm pleasing them, I'm giving up on what I think I am. If I'm doing this, I'm giving up on this goal. So take one goal at a time and go with that. It'll make your journey. And once I already have developed one strength within me, one skill within me, it's easier to use that fortitude for the other one. So don't worry about the journey. Start somewhere and start simple. I feel like he's made a big progress even with where he's come with, okay, making note, figuring, what is it, how is it? Only thing comes to, okay, so if I truly believe these are the positives, look at the list again. There's no shame in that. Look at that list again and go like, how many of these do I believe? You might find that a lot of those are things that, you sort of believe, people think, you hope to cultivate within you, whatever it is. If they're things that you truly believe are true to your strengths, play to them. All right. Everyone is unique, and there is no good or a bad quality that a person has. Attributes are simply what they are and how we tame them. So anywhere, any of you getting to a fear of connecting to it, that's what we want to release. All right. Let's do a very, very quick B round. All right. Although I started making a journey towards realizing who I am, what I am, and what my unique qualities are. Somewhere along that journey, I sometimes struggle to get the answers. I'm not quite sure what and where that struggle to connect to who I am and to connect and to the belief and conviction that I have in myself truly began. I'm not sure if it is the fear I have of encountering the negative parts of me and having to accept that darkness, having to accept that negative within me as a part of who I am is the struggle, or if it is something else altogether, or if it is what the negative that people say is true about me is where I am struggling. I still choose to, deeply and completely, love and accept myself and heal and integrate that part of me. Although, from the very moment that we are born, we have different roles that we are playing and different labels that people give us based on how they perceive us, how they understand us, and what they understand of us. We often begin to make these labels who we are and resenting the same process as it is misaligned to us. However, I also understand that a person can only label me or have a certain perception of me when that is what is portrayed outwards, when I operate with complete surety of who I am and choose to access my positive strengths, my attributes, my unique self, and allow myself to operate with those strengths of mine, those are automatically what go forward, those are automatically what people perceive and what my reputation becomes, and then that perception automatically shifts. But while I am in the struggle of fighting what other people's thoughts of me are with and fighting what my thoughts of myself are, is when the process of collaboration or of self growth and self realization becomes difficult for me. I still choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself and heal and integrate that part of me. Although I understand that when we connect to our true potential, our true self, our unique self, that is always aligned with our nature, that is always aligned with who we are, that our skill sets would always, always be in alignment and in functionality with the same. However, I'm not sure where the pattern starts or what the fear of connecting to my complete and truest potential is, what the fear related to communicating my truest potential is, and what the fear of me simply living to that potential is. But whatever it is, I choose to let it go. I still choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself and heal and integrate that part of me. Both hands on your chest, taking in 7 deep breaths, breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth, breathing in positivity, breathing in the permission to connect to who you are, breathing out any struggle, any duality that you feel in this process. Breathing in the knowing and the understanding that only when the jug is full can it pour to other glasses. And the importance of having your jug full of understanding who you are and of operating from that, of operating from your strengths. Knowing that once you know your strengths, you are in control of modifying them. Once I know how the volume button works, I can make the volume higher or lower, but not knowing it simply leaves me on mute. allowing yourself to take one step at a time, feeling safe in the process to do so, feeling safe as you begin your journey to self-discovery. Breathing out through your mouth. Any conscious or subconscious fears of being left alone in this process. Breathing in joy, breathing in positivity, breathing out any anxiety or negativity. With every breath, connecting to your true self, connecting to who you are, and letting yourself know, telling yourself, I am incredible. I choose to connect to who I am and to the wonder of myself. I operate from strength to strength. I know what it feels like to be collaborative in my strength and in my growth. To understand that the process, however, starts with me. I am safe in my knowing of who I am and in my showing of who I am. I allow myself to live at my truest potential. I am ready to make this journey now and to make it an incredible one. I'm happy with who I am. I know that in my understanding of myself lies the secret to my growth and my shifts, my evolution. And I am ready for that now. Simply allowing these affirmations, allowing these words to sink into the very core of your being, unlocking the part of you that is locked up, the part of you that you were too scared to look at. You know that darkness is part of the light. You know that this journey, any journey, has ups and downs, and that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it incredible. But now you let go of the fear of making this journey because you're making it with the safest person you know. You're making it with the person that loves you the most, that will do literally anything for you, yourself. And so you get ready to embark upon this journey now. Seeing yourself take one step at a time, moving towards the true understanding of who you are, towards your self-growth. This key, this puzzle, when unlocked, unleashes so much potential, so much joy within your space. I'm ready to unleash my potential. It is safe and I allow it. I deserve to. I'm cherished, I'm loved, I'm trusted, I'm respected. Feeling one with all of these positive words, feeling ready, feeling aligned, feeling pumped. Whenever you feel ready, simply allow yourself to come back into this room, integrated, balanced, grounded, connected, and open your eyes. Okay, see some of you back. Okay. So most of you back. I hope you understand the essence of what it is that we were talking of today. All right. And I'll share with you one of my favorite quotes today on the group. And I want you all to look at that in that moment and think about it and accept it. And allow yourself to understand that you're actually ever evolving, that you're doing so much better than you think you are. You're already thinking of the next step. You're already taking a step forward. So if you see everything great, if you see light everywhere as well, superb. That's what tons of people are struggling to do. Take what you've got, connect to your strengths. Anytime I connect to who I am and to a true strength, I can be humble with it. I can be gentle with it. Till I don't know how to operate this device, I cannot do anything with it. But like when you go to school, like when you go to learn anything, you're taught everything, then you can modulate it. Once I learn how to operate the volume button on it, it's up to me whether I want to keep it on mute, I want to have the volume low or high. But if I'm constantly worried that I'm going to blast music if I know how this works, I'm not trusting myself there. And that's why I decided to never learn how the volume button on this works. I've got to trust myself on that. Anything that is your strength is very easy for you to modulate. Because it is your strength, you know every part of it. If cooking is my strength, I know that even if I love cooking with spicy Asian flavors, if somebody comes in and says they cannot have spice, if cooking is really my strength, I know that I can easily cook up something delicious for them, even if that's not spicy. I'm not going to be worried that, oh, but spicy food is my forte, so now I cannot make something for them. If I truly believe in my strength to be cooking, I know I can do it. Similarly, if your strength is music and you're a classical singer, and somebody someday wants to sing something completely different, a complete different genre of singing, that might not be your best song, but you know you're going to be able to do a good job at it because singing is that strength that you have. So your strength is very easy for you to modulate if the situation needs it. If you are truly connected to that strength, if you have truly nurtured that strength. Strengths are to be nurtured. Never make something that's your strong point your weakness. Never worry about that. Simply look at nurturing that first. And anytime that you feel overwhelmed, ask the universe to help you balance and to give you balance, to give you the discernment of the same. And as for the rest, trust yourself and trust the universe, trust the process, and have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you all on Monday. Bye.